Oh no! Now I have to say something bad about Deus Ex. Oh, crap. Okay, here it goes. Welcome back, my Hopaholics, to another episode of Blastcast. I'm, of course, your host, BlastBunny, and today we are talking about Mankind Divided and all the bullshit they are in. Let me start by setting off a certain scene for you, okay? A bright-eyed me hearing about Mankind Divided for the first time, saying, my god, the last one was so good, this one's gonna be super epic as well. Then I bought it, and I installed it. Now, don't get me wrong, this game is awesome. It's actually pretty damn awesome. Voice acting, graphics, story, level design, it's all, oh, it's so good, okay? But there are some things that I have to talk about. So, let's do that. Okay, let's talk about the first thing here. The optimization, okay? It's awful, alright? It's bad. The optimization for this game is just, it's bad, okay? There are people with graphics cards 4 levels above mine that can barely run this game, okay? That is an intense problem. And I think I understand why. First off, let me go ahead and say that I can't run this game at 60 frames unless I downgrade my resolution and go to medium or low graphics, depending on what I need to turn on. And the game looks like garbage at that point, okay? It looks awful. But Tyler, I thought you said graphics weren't everything. You've said it more than once. You keep saying graphics don't mean crap. Yeah. You're right about that. I do say graphics aren't everything, but they are something. And in a game where the graphics are a touted part of the experience, you need to have good ones. If you have an indie game and it's meant to be a low graphic game and it works, then it's good. So if you have a game like 7 Days, right? The graphics aren't great, but it works for the game. It's good. Borderlands, those graphics aren't the best. The style, it has its own style. That's not saying that those graphics are bad. They fit the story. With Deus Ex, it's a story about real life. It's a story about being in the future. It's a story that needs good graphics. Could you imagine if this game was, let's say, like Minecraft style graphics? No one would play it, and everyone would think it would be terrible. The graphics for Dropsy worked fantastic. You know, if you had a Deus Ex level of graphical, capabilities for, like, let's say, a Dropsy game, that would be terrible. No one would play that. Why does this exist, they would say. This is stupid. The problem is that you need good graphics in this game. And when I downgrade them to the levels I need to get 60 frames, they look worse than Human Revolution graphics. And that's not even me trying to record it. The graphics are even worse when I have to record it. I have to downgrade it more when I record it. I can't even do a Let's Play of this. Now, I have the first episode of Deus Ex Mankind Divided on my channel right now, and you can go check it out. It does showcase some of those graphical problems, and I was able to get it to a certain stable level of 30 frames, mostly. But I can't continue on the story because after this main opening part, the world opens up by a lot, and there's a lot more stuff that I have to try and generate and run through my graphics card. Again, I'm trying to be as completely serious as possible about this, guys. The game is awesome, alright? The level design is great, the voice acting is amazing, the graphics, the story, it's all great, it's all on par, it's all there, and it's all fantastic. They really went in, and they optimized it, from Human Revolution. It's just, I can't record it or play it. Now, when this game first launched, when they first announced it, they said from day one, it would have DirectX 12 built into it, all ready to go. And that was a complete lie. Okay, so they hyped it up using DirectX for a long time. This was supposed to be the first game that used it, and it still will be, but here's the thing. It doesn't. And I have to assume that a lot of why this game doesn't run right is because it was built for DirectX 12, and DirectX 12 hasn't come out yet. For anyone with Windows 10, you already have DirectX built in, okay? You already have it. For the millions of people who got that free download on day one, including me, you have it. You just can't access it yet, okay? So they say that DirectX 12 is going to launch September 5th, and I have to assume that at that point the game is going to run a hell of a lot better. I don't understand why they would announce day one DirectX 12 if they weren't going to have it, okay? That's one thing publishers, especially publishers like Square Enix, need to get off their ass and figure out. If you promise something on day one, you make sure it's there from day one. If you're not able to have it on day one, you push back the game, okay? Don't release an unfinished product, okay? We've seen this with Unity. We've seen this with many Assassin's Creed games. So one of the problems in the original game when people started downloading it was right away in the beginning at the Prague scene where there's a bombing at the train station, the game would just crash. It would just stop working. And they had to release a massive patch on day 2, right, to fix that problem. And actually, I ran into that glitch a good 5 or 6 times while trying to record the first part of the game. Like, it was insane. And, you know, the game still doesn't run right. This game was built with DirectX in mind. So, of course, it's optimized for DirectX, and since we don't have that one yet, it doesn't work right. So basically, it was Eldios thinking, oh, we're going to make this game as good as possible with the latest technology so people can run it on their PCs from day one, and I'm guessing Square Enix was like, no. Push it out the door, make sure it's done. That's even insane too, because DirectX comes out September 5th, or the week of September 5th. You guys couldn't push it back till September 5th? Really? Would it have been that big of a deal? How many refunds have you got so far thanks to your bullshit business practices on Steam? I have to imagine a lot of people asked for a refund. And you know, it's no surprise that I don't like Square Enix. In fact, in the past year, I have made 3 whole episodes about how much I dislike them as a company. Because, like, Ubisoft and EA, they're all about making the money. They're not about making a good product. They're all about, you know, pushing the game out. Who the fuck cares if it's finished? I want my money now. And you know, one of the worst parts about Mankind Divided isn't the fact that it doesn't run right, because that's probably going to get solved later on eventually. I can understand that. You know, like I said, it wasn't Eldios' problem. You know, when they say that they built the game without, you know, a lot of the bullshit in it in mind, I believe them. I think they're just tacked on to a really shitty business. And even worse is they're part of a shitty business and they're managed by an even shittier company. And I really feel for those guys. I feel for those publishers who want to make good games, but who aren't able to, because you have these massive companies who don't give a shit about making a good product. They give a shit about making the money. And you know, isn't that just the most hilarious irony? You have a game with some brilliant social commentary about the dangers of unlimited corporate control and what happens when corporations have too much power and money. And you have this game being shit on and being ruined by corporate power. And that is in a large part due to the DLC. Now let me go ahead and explain something to you about the Deus Ex DLC, okay? So you buy it with real money and it's single use. But here's the even more insane thing about this DLC, and I haven't even seen this yet before, but I'm sure it's been done before. The DLC is not only single use, it's single use for that save. Now let me go ahead and explain what that means. You have a game, right? You start a new game, first save, right? And you buy this DLC, and you're able to use it single use in that save. And then you beat the game, and you're like, oh, okay, so I want to go back, and I want to do some things differently, as anyone playing a Deus Ex style game would want to do. And that's gonna be a lot of people, okay? You start a new save, and your DLC's not there. The DLC you buy is only available in one save. If you want that DLC to carry over to another save file, you have to buy it all over again. When they first announced Mankind Divided pre-orders, they had this whole bullshit where it was like, augment your pre-order. And what it basically was, it was basically crowdfunding for DLC. And that in itself is a disgusting concept. That they're basically like holding all this cool stuff hostage until enough people are dumb enough to buy into this useless junk that shouldn't be tacked on to a AAA title. It's basically a game company saying, we don't think this title can stand on its own and make its own money. We don't stand by this project. We think it's garbage and it's not going to make us our money back, so we're going to go ahead and charge it the ass for pre-orders and bullshit. Or, you know, even worse, it's the company saying, okay, this game is great, people are going to buy it. how can we get more money out of those people? Which is an even more disgusting business practice. Basically, all pre-orders is legalized nickel and diming. And it's disgusting. And what's even sadder is people buy into it. I have said for a long time that casual gamers are destroying the gaming scene because they will buy into anything to feel like a gamer. Oh, you didn't get the Borderlands $100 pre-order with the loot crate? Oh, you stupid son of a bitch. The only time you should buy DLC for a game is 1, if you know you're going to like the game. 2, if you like the franchise. There is no reason to buy, you know, like the Division style-esque DLC. There's no reason. You don't need it. New IPs don't need DLC. The DLC should be for those hardcore gamers who really enjoy those franchises, who want to partake in that universe, in that style, in that game. I can see DLC for Assassin's Creed. I cannot see DLC for, let's say, Evolve or The Division. And even then, going into the DLC, I cannot see this crowdfunding DLC bullshit. It is slimy. And when we talk about slimy companies, we talk about Square Enix. Again, they are one of the slimiest companies in business today in the gaming community. They are awful. And you know, all I can say at this point is I'm ashamed of Square Enix taking this amazing franchise and shitting on it. Because you have so many Deus Ex fans, and it's basically Square Enix saying, well, fuck you, we don't care, we want to make money, we don't care if it's good. I would say that at this point in my life, I hate Square Enix more than I do Konami, and that's bad. That's really bad, because Konami as a company, at least Konami outwardly, you know, admits they don't give a shit. I haven't even got to the shadiest shit yet. On day 1, they locked the storefront, so you couldn't see the kind of DLC that would come later in the game. So of course, all the day 1 reviewers were like, oh my god, this game's amazing, this is so fantastic. And of course, day 2, they unlocked the storefront, so all the reviews are basically like, oh, well, Deus Ex Mankind Divided's great. And no one got a chance to see the abysmal practices that were the DLC storefront. Basically, this game is optimized within itself. So you have the entire box, and in that box you have the game. And it's perfectly tuned to being inside that box. It works as its own thing. And then you have the DLC. You can buy Praxis kits for real money. Basically, the game that they have that is completely balanced and well put together can be unbalanced by just paying money. It's a pay-to-win system, and that is awful. And don't even get me started on Breach, which is basically the most worthless game system inside the game. Don't buy into what this company wants to sell you, okay? The game is good enough to stand on its own. You don't need little die-cast figurines. You don't need stupid posters or in-game consumable bullshit. Just play the game, okay? Just play it as it was meant to be. Don't take these companies up on their offer to break something that wasn't broken. Aside from that, guys, I've been ranting long enough, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this episode here. So, of course, I love you guys. Please subscribe if you haven't. Become a Hopaholic today. There are your bunny ears, and I'll see you in the next episode of Blastcast. Hey guys, just thought I'd stop by at the end of the video to tell you again thanks, and I love you. You guys are beautiful. That video up there in the corner, you can go ahead and click that. It takes you to a playlist of one of my other videos. I discussed Dropsy in this episode, so you can go watch that playthrough. That game is pretty damn good, and it makes you feel stuff. And isn't that what games are supposed to do? Anyway, guys, I'm out.